So this is the Portland Kettle Works KegMaster system. We have a 2 and a 3 head. The new systems all come with this new 7.5 inch touch screen. Controls are very easy. Start, pause, stop. Start obviously will start the whole cycle. You can pause it in the middle of any cycle, then hit start again to resume. Or you can stop at any point in time in the cycle. What you hear, we have a caustic temperature, so we have our caustic tank down here with the heating element inside of it. If you tap down here, you can actually set, how hot you want your caustic to be. And when you hit the on button, this will turn green. And then with doing so, the heating element will go on, we have a temperature readout, and then once it gets about 1.1 degrees with our hysteresis on that, it'll fluctuate the heating element on and off to keep you where you want to be. The only other things you can always look at is if you hit this button up here, you're going to have essentially what our PKW factory settings are for the whole cycle. The whole cycle is about 7.5 minutes. It's the same for the 2 and the 3 head keg system. If you want to, you're always more than welcome to reach into any one of these and change the settings if you feel that's better for your system, so it's fully customizable. And if you ever customize it and want to go back, we have the button up top to reset it to the default settings. We have an additional screen here. If you ever want to force any of your valves open, force the heater on, force the Peristaltic Pump, force the Caustic Pump on, for any maintenance or any reasons for that too, you have all controls here as well. In addition to maintenance, we always recommend if you think there's going to be an extended period of time that you're going to be not running the keg washer, you can only just run it through like a dry cycle, about once a week, just to make sure that everything is still operating and all the water is always staying fluid and nothing's kind of getting gunked up in the system. And you hit home on any one of these screens and it'll take you right back to the front. On the front of the panel we have your input set to your CO2, your keg, and your air PSI. Every keg washer comes with a manual, tells you exactly what PSI recommendations that we have for the inlets, as well as your dual regulators back here for your air and CO2. As you see, we have these push fittings for your air and your CO2, and you can use your regulator. And the nice thing is that from here you can see the PSI on the front screen as you just saw. You have your water in, which is a 1.5 inch TC. You also have your Peristaltic Pump for any of your sanitizer. And the nice thing about this pump is that with a couple of screws and your key here, everything's hooked up, and through this valve you can make your adjustments. So you can adjust the speed control on your Peristaltic Pump to the optimized levels according to your manufacturer for your sanitation. But if you want to make this pump faster or slower, you can open this up, you can change this dial, and then we always recommend to secure this as well when you're done. And so here we have our caustic tank. You put your caustic in here. We have a heating element down there as well with a temp probe, so you can always see what your settings are we saw on the touch screen. The nice thing about the way the system is a closed loop system, so anytime you have a caustic, the return does come back in here to minimize your caustic loss. And so for the connection to the keg, this is a semi-automatic system. You do have to make the actual connection with your keg, which these are provided for you. We do have an inlet and an outlet that all get fitted to a 1.5 inch TC fitting as well. From there underneath we go, and you have the top row is where your everything that goes into the keg, the bottom row is everything out of the keg. The nice thing with these 2 and 3 head keg washers is that if you want to just do a single keg, you can always cap these off with 1.5 inch TC caps, or just leave these on there. So even if you get the 3 head keg washer and you only want to watch 1 or 2, the same cycle everything goes through is always adjustable for your needs.